This week on the Digital Coffee, Facebook is testing the option to leave public comments on stories. Google Search Console just got way more user-friendly, and Twitter wants you to apply for ticketed spaces and superfollow. All that and more after this. Good morning, and welcome to the Digital Coffee. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing and social media news for small business. My name is Amanda Webb. Good morning, everyone. If you are on Facebook and you leave a comment, I will send you by direct message a copy of this week's Digital Coffee newspaper. So you can read all these stories again. You can get the links in your own time. If you are watching on YouTube, do say hi. It's lovely to see people on YouTube. I have pinned a comment to the top of the chat. You will see it in the description as well. That will tell you how you can get your hands on the newspaper. We have lots of, I'm actually thinking, fascinating news this week. But just firstly, if you are watching, because this is our digital coffee together, I would love to know what's in your mug. I am grasping this mug as if it has coffee in, but as you know, if you're a long-time viewer, it does not have coffee in it. It does not have coffee in it until I finish this show, because I talk way too fast. So, good morning to Ginny. I can see Ginny is here. I just need to slide under my microphone so I can put a comment on screen. And the question of the week. So if you have an answer to this, I would love to know, is it weird to send direct messages to strangers through stories? And Ginny says, depends if they're complimentary. I do it on Instagram. And you know what? I think so. I think, a lot of the time we actually ask for comments on Instagram. As long as you're not sending a hello, lovely lady message, I think it's fine. And I think it's nice. And yeah, don't abuse people. It's a general good rule of thumb. Good morning to May King, who is the FOMO creator, who will be joining me for the Twitter space. I better move her out of my mouth. The Twitter space that we will be hosting together at 10:30 this morning to discuss these stories in more detail. So looking forward to that, Making. And good morning to Ev McGlynn, who is watching on Facebook. Do let me know if you're watching on YouTube. It makes me really happy because YouTube has been something I've been working on since November, and it's great to see so many people joining. Look, there's Val. Good morning, Val. Great to see you. Thank you for joining. Okay, I should probably start talking about the news because that's what you're here for, isn't it?
Hello, this is Rob Charles, the voice of Mike on Forever FM on Peter Kay's Car Share. BAFTA award winning, I've got to say, but I've not seen the BAFTA yet. Anyway, you're watching the Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Enjoy. I'm on tea. Shh.
One of the unique things about stories, I think, is that you can't publicly comment, that you have to, if you want to say something, you have to send a direct message. If you want to send even an emotion, a reaction, you have to direct message. And particularly for Instagram, I mean, that works like magic, right? Because that's bringing you straight into a conversation with your audience. And it's definitely one of the things you should be aiming for and measuring if you are using stories on Instagram. However, this week, Facebook is testing the option to publicly comment on stories. Now, in some ways, this makes sense, right? Because we are trained, us oldies who've been on social media for a long time, to react publicly to things, to go through. I mean, lots of people would go through their Instagram feed and like every single post that they see. It's just something that we do. We like to give our public appreciation. And maybe, direct messaging someone rather than leaving a comment seems like a huge commitment. Now, I think it's a commitment worth making because I do think those private conversations, and we know there is a trend towards people wanting to leave comments less publicly. I think, this is a good thing, which is why I was kind of surprised. Let's have a look. This is what it's going to look like. I'll put the link below so you can see where it came from. So this is on Facebook. They're testing this, not Instagram. just Facebook for the moment. And at the bottom of the Facebook story, you'll see there's two options now. One, which is to send a message, which is what you'd normally do. And the second one, to leave a public comment. So firstly, yes, this takes the magic out of stories a little bit, doesn't it? It just takes that little magic out of it. Secondly, it gets me to thinking, what's the difference between this and a feed post now? If I can comment on stories and react to stories publicly, does that mean that actually this is the beginning of the end of the newsfeed on Facebook? This is how we're going to view content in the future, just by clicking through stories? Is this the beginning? Am I just predicting something that's never going to happen? Does this mean more engagement because people won't have to direct message you? They won't have to take that big leap to direct message you, so you might get more engagement on your stories. The truth is, I don't know the answer. We're going to have to wait to see. We're going to have to wait to see if they roll out this test further. And of course, if it works on Facebook, they will eventually roll it out to Instagram as well. We may see the other platforms follow. I do think that this could be a significant shift in the way that Facebook shows us content. But like I said, we'll have to see. Good morning to Kate. Hello, Kate. What are you drinking this morning? I'm going to make a stab of a guess that if you're drinking anything, it is tea. Good morning to Deirdre, who's watching on YouTube. Hello, lovely lady. Hello, lovely lady. I don't get hello, lovely lady comments on YouTube yet. I must be doing something wrong. I get lots of spam comments that are leading to porn sites and Bitcoin sites. Good morning, Sylvia. How are you today? And you've got a lovely mug of coffee. Before we do, just before we move on, at 10:30 a.m, our Twitter space on Twitter with Mei King Zhang and Dan Holloway, where we will discuss these stories in more detail, and you can come and join and put in your 2 penneth worth as well. Don't forget to join us there. Right. What's next in the news?
Hi, I'm Catherine Mason and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
How many of you use Google Search Console? And if you're going, I don't even know what that is, Amanda, that's fine. That's fine. But on Google Search Console, it used to be called Webmaster Tools, and it connects to your Google Analytics to give you insights on your website. So it will tell you all sorts of things like, why isn't my website performing well? This bit is broken. Google doesn't like this about your website. It will also tell you what you're ranking for on Google, what position in search you're in, which isn't always that accurate. And it will tell you what keywords that you're ranking for, what are people searching for to find your site. But until now, this information has been really complicated. I mean, even me who loves surfing through data, when you go to Search Console, you spend so much time just going from menu to graph to menu and clicking here and there. I have to say it isn't, or it wasn't, user friendly. But this week, you should have this now. This week, they launched Search Console Insights, and I am so excited about this, like a stupid excited nerd that I am, because it's a user-friendly interface that tells you a lot of that information about your website. It tells you what search terms people are using, where you're ranking for those search terms, but it will also show you your top content. So what is working really well on your website? It will show your top 5 pages, or if you're a blogger, like I have a blog on my website, it will show you the top 5. It will include those blog posts in there, which is fascinating. I wasn't too happy about what I found, but it's given me something to work on. It will also tell you your traffic sources. So Google is still massive for me. Second is Facebook, and third is Twitter. By a long shot, Facebook is winning that, but I think that's because I run Facebook ads. Honestly, this is such good data presented in a really user-friendly way that makes it easy to understand and easy to act on. So much so that my video on YouTube this week or next week will be about this new tool, so watch out for that. It's absolutely fabulous, and I'm so pleased that they're making it easier for people like me, like you, to read this data. Good morning. Let's see, I've got Kate says she's drinking tea and she comments on lots of people's stories. So there you go. Not scared of it. I use GSC and find this morning that I index a new blog. Oh, GSC is Google Search Console, of course. Yeah, and you know what? Have you clicked into the insights yet, Ginny? Because it's absolutely amazing. And congratulations on ranking for a new blog post. Yes, I'm so happy you're all using it. You know, a while ago, the first time I did my Maximum Impact Marketing Challenge, most of the people weren't even using Google Analytics. So I'm really happy to see that you're using it. And hopefully you'll find my video on the topic really helpful. Yes, Ginny's using it. Oh, we used that one already. Okay, I think I've got all your comments. Is there much difference in info what you see in Google Analytics? Yes. Well, it's the same info that you see in Google Analytics, but you would need to deep dive to find this information in Google Analytics, or you'd just be looking at lines of writing. And what's nice about this is it's a visual dashboard. If I pull it up, I know it's really small on your screen, but the one on the left, you know, it's visual. It will even show you like the images from your most popular posts so that you can see immediately without having to read a whole lot of text what is working. And I think the visual dashboard is really what makes a difference. It's just so beautiful to navigate. If you go to your Google Search Console, there should be a little thing at the top about Search Console Insights, and if you click into that, you'll find it. Honestly, I got lost there for a while because I was just like, this is amazing. What am I going to do with this data now? It's the most exciting thing that's happened to me all week, which shows you what a geek I am.
Hi, I'm Lee from Wellshot, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Cheers.
One of the ways that you can ensure you get the best possible customers, and this is really for service-based businesses, I'm not sure it would work for product-based businesses, is to ask people to apply for your service rather than just selling it up front. And this is something I do because I can only fit a certain amount of customers for my main package per year, so it's like 6 per quarter. So I have to make it an application process just to make sure that the people that are going to benefit from it most are the people that do it. And obviously Twitter are thinking the same way because they have just opened up an application process for both the super follow function and for the ticketed spaces option. So the criteria for super follow is kind of high. Firstly, most of the people watching this live, unless you're in the States and it's the middle of the night, won't be able to apply because you need to be in the United States. Secondly, you have to have 10,000 followers, which I know Making has, and maybe a few of the others of you watching here have as well. Do let me know. But you know, you have to have that 10K followers to actually activate super follow. Which makes sense really, doesn't it? Because if you don't have that number of followers, you're not going to make revenue from just a small amount of followers. I guess that's their thinking. You have to have tweeted 25 times in the last 30 days. But again, that makes sense because if you're not active on Twitter, super follow probably isn't going to work for you. For us that don't live in the US, good news, we can apply for ticketed spaces. This is where you would charge a fee to join your Twitter space. So this might be maybe you're having an event with an interview, or maybe you're running some sort of online audio conference, or maybe you're a musician and you're sharing your first track. You know, these are all things that you might run ticketed events for. We can apply. You can apply, and the criteria are much lower. So you only need 1,000 followers. And you only need to have hosted 3 Twitter spaces in the last 30 days. So that means after our Twitter space today with May King, I'll actually be eligible for this one. Not that I'm going to use it, but it's nice to know that I'm eligible. So where does the money go is the next question. How much money is Twitter going to take? Because these are revenue devices. You're going to make money from Superfollow. You're going to make money from ticketed events. Well, Twitter are going to take 3% of your revenue after in-app purchases, because Apple or Google Play are going to take a chunk of the money first. I think Apple, it's quite high. We've seen Mark Zuckerberg complaining about this recently. But after that, Twitter will take 3% up until you make 50,000. And once you make 50,000, that goes up to 20%. Which seems high, but I guess if you're making 50,000 off the back of Twitter, it's kind of, 20% won't seem a huge amount. So it looks like it's going to be really good value. If you're interested in applying for either of these, so if you're in the United States, or if you can apply for Superfollow and Ticketed Spaces. If you're in anywhere else, you can only apply for Ticketed Spaces, but you'll see a monetization tab on your sidebar on Twitter. You can just click in there and you will see, this is what I got, your options. And it only gave me Ticketed Spaces. It takes me through the application process. So this will be a really interesting way for businesses to monetize. I think more so the Ticketed Spaces, maybe we might need to start thinking about the events that we could run. Are there events that we could run in this way? Superfollow, I think it's more a creator or an influencer space, although somebody like Making, I would totally think could utilize Superfollow. Will you use it is the question. Just checking. Is Google Search Console free? Yes, Google Search Console is free because I don't know, it's a Google tool, it's free, it's great. Seeing a very long comment from Deirdre here, and I've been pondering whether I should wear my glasses during the digital coffee because I cannot see the comments, but then once I make it big, there will always be exhibitionists on Facebook. The live stream will not disappear. No, true, there's no lovely ladies on YouTube. I get comments saying that they can increase my likes and subs and a reduced link. Yeah. I get that a lot on Instagram actually, and I don't barely use Instagram. And here's Making. Great to see the Twitter's innovation again today with Ticketed Spaces. It's so exciting. Speaking of Making, here she is.
This is Making from The FOMO Creator, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
If you want to change your Google My Business listing, it's always been kind of a big, cumbersome process. This is when, if you Google yourself, you will, and if you have set up Google My Business, if you haven't, do set it up. If you Google yourself, you will see your Google My Business listing, and it will give various bits of information to anyone that is searching for you. If you wanted to update this, what you had to do was you had to log in to Google My Business. You had to go through various menus and then find the bit that you wanted to update and update it. But this week, Google are making it much easier to update your profile. So either from search or from maps, you will get these little, You'll get these little buttons at the top of the screen. So when you Google yourself and you're logged into your Google account that your Google My Business comes from, there will be these buttons that you'll be able to click and just really easily update the information on your business profile. I think it's really interesting actually that Google are calling this your business profile, not your Google My Business profile. I wonder, are they going to change the name again, because they've changed it a few times? So this is going to make it much easier to make sure that information is updated. And it's so important because when people search for you, yes, hopefully they're going to find your website, but they're also going to get this side panel or in this mid-screen panel with your listing on it. And if that information is out of date, you're in danger of losing customers. And you've got to remember as well, the people who find you in search, on website search or web search, are far and closer to the bottom of the funnel than the people who find you on social media, which means they are looking for what you do. You want to make sure that when they're in that state and they're ready to buy, that you've optimized yourself to the hilt. So I love that they've made it easier. They're actually going to add some new features as well. They're going to add the option for events. You're going to be able to publicize events through your Google profile. If you're a restaurant, you're going to be able to add options. You're going to be able to add your menu and take orders for takeaways and for deliveries. And that's just the start. So this is going to become a far more important part of your search listing than it has before. So do make sure that you are updating it on a regular basis. And if you haven't looked recently, and if you haven't claimed your business, just do. It's going to be so important.
I'm Ian Anderson-Gray and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
I pressed about 10 wrong buttons there. I hope you stayed with me for those few seconds of Ian Anderson-Gray being frozen on the screen. Moving on then, just a week after Mark Zuckerberg tested Facebook audio spaces, they have officially launched them. But don't get too excited. There are only a few people who are going to be able to use them. At the moment, it's going to be the United States only. It's going to be launched to select public figure pages and groups. iOS only for hosting. You are going to be able to join in from Android devices. So that's the limits. And it seems that Facebook are thinking of this more like Clubhouse than Twitter Spaces. They're thinking of it where you have people on stage talking and sharing their knowledge with a lot of people who want to join in. That's how they're launching it, and that's everything within their press release points towards that. So definitely more Clubhouse from that point of view. You can have multiple speakers, so you'll be able to invite speakers beforehand, before the space goes live, which I think is brilliant. And you're going to be able to have up to 50 speakers. So, even though they're talking about knowledge sharing and public figures, you are going to be able to have a lot of people join in. There's no limit to the number of people who can join to listen. From Twitter Spaces, they're taking a couple of things too. So they're taking the reactions. You're going to be able to react to speakers. You're going to be able to raise your hand to ask to speak. I think that's across the board. There's going to be captions, closed captions from the start, automated closed captions, which is great because it means it's accessible, which is, a problem that Clubhouse had from the start, that this wasn't a thing that they did. They're also, and this is the thing I haven't seen on either yet, I may be missing it because I haven't been on Clubhouse for a while, but people who are listening are going to be able to purchase stars that they give to specific speakers, and those speakers will rise higher up the speaker list, which I suppose means that you could buy your way in to a conversation with somebody noteworthy, which could be amazing. So small launch at the moment. I am looking forward to seeing this in action, to see how people use it. And I do think there is going to be the difference between where you spend your time. Are you a Facebooker? Are you a tweeter? Do you just like going to Clubhouse, to how you use it? But if your audience is on Facebook, this could be huge. Let's see if I can press all the buttons right this time.
You're watching the Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
TikTok is about to do something other than being a short form video platform. It is. It's about to launch Jumps, and these are small little apps that creators will be able to link to from their videos, and it will include things like apps that will deliver recipes, or they will deliver restaurant reservations or quizzes, or they're saying learning materials. At the moment, these little apps are created by well-known creators. So the likes of Whisk for your recipes, which is a big recipe site, Wikipedia for some of the knowledge, they're all there. And a creator will be able to shout out to these, you'll be able to link through to it and participate in some way. But it's also opening up to developers. So this could be an exciting opportunity for some businesses to create a jump that creators can link to. And I think this solves a problem for a lot of businesses that, TikTok is hard. It's time consuming. You can't just throw up stock footage there. You have to create, like every day, you have to create amazing videos, and that is hard work for a business. So one of the ways that you can work around that is to work with existing TikTok creators, read influencers, And by working with these, if you had a little mini app that you were sending them to, you're bringing them further down the sales process. So I think this is an interesting innovation. I'm going to be interested to see what sort of jumps, which is the name of the small apps, are created and how businesses use this. I think that's the last story, but I feel like I haven't been talking for long enough, so I'm just double checking. Bear with me. I knew I'd missed one. I did miss one. It's not the last story. Stay with me here because Facebook is updating its shopping, or it's expanding its shopping. And it's not surprising because 300 million people, the 300 million visits, which doesn't mean people, to Facebook shops per month, and it only launched last year. Plus, let's have a look. There's 1.2 million active Facebook shops. So Facebook shopping has been a huge success. And this week they announced that they're rolling it out to WhatsApp, your full shop to WhatsApp. So previously you were able to link your feed and link products in conversations, but now you'll have this little shop tab at the top of your WhatsApp, which people can click and they'll be able to see your entire shop. And what gets me excited about WhatsApp shopping is that you'll be able to have almost a personalized shopping experience when you use WhatsApp. So you want something, but is this going to fit me? Is this the right style for me? What's the refund policy? You can get straight into a conversation with a small business owner, which means more sales for the small business. And it also means it makes the shopping experience more personalized for me. That's just the first tool that Facebook are launching though. They're also adding listings, shop listings into the marketplace tab. So marketplace, if you haven't used it, was kind of like a buy and sell site. You would put up your pre-loved items and somebody else would buy it, almost like the beginnings of eBay, what eBay used to be. That's what marketplace is. But now shop listings are going to start appearing here. As a shop owner, you won't need to do anything. It's automatic. The third innovation, they have stolen the Pinterest lens idea, which also Google have stolen, which is where you'll just be, if you're out and about and you see something, you say, right, I want one of those. I actually did this recently with a chair. You will be able to hold your phone up to it and scan it, and Facebook will be able to find an item that is similar to it in its shops. It will give you a whole listing of those. So you'll be able to buy what you see, basically. And the final one, and this is really interesting, is that there'll be personalized ads for shopping. Now, we know that Facebook have been through it with the Pixel and privacy of the Pixel recently, and this has caused lots of problems for people who have the Pixel on their website. So one solution that Facebook obviously love, because it keeps people on Facebook, is that all the stuff happens on Facebook, and that's what happens with shops. So now you'll be able to run personalized ads that will go to people, and it will show those ads to the people who are going to be most interested in it, based on their previous behavior on Facebook. So basically it's doing what the Pixel did, but it's all happening in Facebook. So good news that if you are able to operate a shop on Facebook, and I know lots of people have had problems with this, but good news is that you're going to be getting more discoverability. You're going to find new ways to sell your products. Bad news, if you've got a website, it's going to be harder and harder for you to get people there to buy. And particularly if you're in one of the categories that you can't set up a shop for, that is going to be difficult. And that is it. That is all the news for this week. I will be back, same bat time, same bat place next week, and at 10:30 a.m. with the amazing Making Tea, who is just fabulous and has so many insights, as does Dan. We have different ways of looking at things, so I think it's interesting. 10:30 a.m. on Twitter, you will see, I'm just going to go and pin it to the top of my profile now, and I'm going to put it in my fleets, and you'll see a little blue circle around my name. I'm at Spiderworking. Hopefully I'll see you there. If I don't, see you this time next week. Bye-bye.